I've recently became a father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage. I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and my children, and I'm doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. We're grateful for your consideration toward all children involved as we move forward together, Dave. Dave, the nice guy, Grohl. So Dave had this reputation of being a very chill dude, a very kind of down to earth dude, and he had the reputation that basically said not every rock star has to be all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. At least that's what we thought. We had a very nice image of him, and for the most part, I believe that that's still pretty true. And I believe that people can make mistakes. I don't know much detail about all of this, but what I want to say is that we should never idolize anybody. This is exactly what happens when we put somebody on a very high pedestal, when we consider them to be even kind of a godlike figure because he has a legendary status already. He was a drummer of Nirvana. He's a singer in Foo Fighters. Amazing, great, huge band, great songs, and I love their songs still, and that's not going to change. But at the same time, we definitely made him appear bigger than he probably is. Now, he made a mistake. I don't know how deep this mistake is. Was it a one night stand? Was he involved with this woman for a longer period of time? At least he's kind of owning up to all of this and he's not going to reject the child. So I can at least kind of appreciate that. At the same time, it hurts me to think about his daughters and his wife. That just must be devastating, especially when you're such a big rock star or such a big celebrity. They're not going to have a easy time dealing with all of this. It would be hard enough even if they were like an everyday person, but especially when you're as famous as this, they're definitely going to be in the spotlight. As I understand, most of them have went into hiding, and I think that's a very good thing. Try to sort that out in family, in private, and I still think that there are things that could be sorted out. Definitely, Dave is to blame. He did a bad thing, and he's going to own up to that, I hope. But another thing that kind of bothers me is that this would probably see the light of day in any way, and he just tweeted it, and it makes him seem a bit more like, okay, I said this, I admit my fault, but I'm pretty sure that even his PR team said that he should do this because either way it's going to end up in the public eye. So, it's better to address it like from the first hand than to have everybody jump to conclusions that just make it even worse. One thing that we should definitely learn from this is that we shouldn't idolize. We shouldn't have idols because at the end of the day, those are just human beings with their faults and quirks and good and bad sides. So putting them on a very high pedestal is just making them inevitably going to fail. Nobody can live up to those expectations. Still, it kind of makes me wonder like, is any celebrity really happy? Why do people fall into these lusts and other sin and drugs and stuff like that? Why does that happen? Like, you seemingly have everything in the world, especially like Dave. He definitely has money, he definitely has fame, fans, supporters, he has great music. So he even has that creative outlet that I think is very important for a person and for his happiness. So somewhere along the line, something happened in himself to think, man, I'm not satisfied with all of that. I need something else. Devil is a very sneaky bastard, and I'm sure that he understands that as well. And I'm pretty sure that he feels bad for all of this. I don't know him personally, but I think that he knows that he messed up very big, and that's why he said he's going to try to patch up everything with his wife and try to ask for forgiveness, but it's going to be a very tricky road. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Probably in your life, you weren't always satisfied with your life, with your relationships, with your financial situation. I know that I am guilty of this. Like, I often want to achieve more. There are some goals that I definitely want to achieve in life that I think would make my life a bit more smoother, that I would maybe have an easier time to provide for my family and stuff like that. So, in a sense, I can definitely say that those are healthy goals to achieve. I don't aim for stars. I don't have to be worldwide famous. Sometimes I have a feeling like, yeah, that would be a cool thing. But most of the time, I think that that would be a very difficult thing to handle. So I think that we should kind of be happy with where we are. And of course, we need to try to improve ourselves and to have a better life. That's normal. But all of that has to be in a very kind of calm sense. If we are struggling or we really want something, we should maybe sit down a bit, think about it, because often that's happening because of something that we saw online or some of the influences that we saw. So maybe you saw an Instagram post about a very cool place that you want to visit or travel, but it's out of your financial like reach. It's too expensive, and that makes you feel bad. Like that doesn't have to happen. Just think about this. What happened with Dave? He has everything in the world, and still he wasn't feeling happy. Why is that happening? Like, why, when you apparently have everything in this world, you still feel this emptiness? I don't think there's a single material thing that can make us happy and satisfied inside that's from this world, like maybe for a split second. Maybe you have a good laugh and you have a good time, but in the long run, I think we all have this kind of sadness that we're dealing with. And I think the only way to deal with it properly is through God. I believe the only thing that can fill up this void inside is if we let God work through us. And I know that that sounds strange to most of you, but give me a second. Like, celebrities already tried everything else. They have access to all the drugs in the world, and they don't make them happy. They have all the money in the world, and they are still very dissatisfied. Dave Grohl cheated on his wife and didn't make him happy. Definitely not. We have all of these examples and we're still not convinced sometimes. Now, I believe that no human can withstand the pressure of this world sometimes. We are very fragile, and sooner or later, especially if you're in this big spotlight, you're going to fail. I believe with God's help and His strength, we can withstand all of these pressures. And not only that, but we can also laugh in the face of troubles and other obstacles. Now, I'm not saying that all of celebrities are bad and that they are doing awful things and that they have skeletons in their closet. But I have this feeling the more famous you are, the harder it is to kind of have common sense because there are too many people pulling you in too many directions and it's very easy to get lost. Now, one huge celebrity who I think is a cool guy is Keanu Reeves. He has such a nice way of talking and thinking about life, but even him, I wouldn't go on and idolize because you never know what he went through to become like that. So we're talking about people who are great and who are maybe bad. They still went through a lot and we don't know much about them. Everything that we see is still on a very surface level. Even from Dave Grohl, who's a very huge guy and we know a lot about him, we still maybe that's maybe just 1% of his life. We definitely don't know his internal struggles. We don't know what happened in his family, so I'm definitely not here to judge. I'm here to observe and try to find some things that we can learn from all of this. We can also talk about big YouTubers. They are also celebrities like Eric and Mr. Beast. Not only were they accused of faking content, which I think is just the lowest thing that you can do like a YouTuber, because cheating people to watch your content just to make money. Like money is the root of all evil, but not money. Money itself is not bad because you can use it for good things. But if you become greedy and everything revolves around money, that's when you know that you are failing. That's when you need to stop, change something in your life, and go into a different direction. And if I ever find out that Ryan Trahan faked any of his content, I'm just going to be devastated. That's just going to be the last punch. Like, he seems like a very down to earth guy at least. And if he is fake, then we're all screwed. But let's get back to the Dave Grohl situation. I have two messages to share with you. First one is intended for women watching this. Not all men are going to cheat, so please don't lose hope. If anything, help men become the best versions of themselves that they can be. And that's sometimes harder to say than to do, but still help us out. Because men have this natural need to be fathers, to provide, to protect their families, to love. But they also have this animalistic drive for lust. We are visual creatures. We want to have excitement. So please help us fall into this kind of category of love and caring and providing for our families. Don't provoke us. Don't feed the lust. Because it only takes one bad decision, one bad night out, maybe influenced by other things, to lose everything. It's a hard battle to win, but it's possible. Men still need to do the heavy lifting, they still need to want to fight it, but you can also help out more than you might realize. And the message to all the men, it was never more important to have a good man in the world. We need good husbands, we need great fathers, we need men that want and can provide for their families. That's something that we are called to do. And we need men that are not afraid to take on responsibilities. Women need that, women want that, women find that attractive. Women need strong men, and that doesn't mean that we need to be bulked, that we need to be physically strong, although that can help as well. but they need to have somebody that they can lean on to. So, men, if you happen to find yourself in a situation that wants you to lust, a very provocative situation when you're out with your friends drinking or whatever, if you find yourself having these thoughts that can really easily ruin your life, and you're just a split second away from doing something that will definitely change your life for the worst, run away. That's the only smart thing that you can do. All of us have definitely found ourselves sometimes in these situations. Just run away. That's the only thing that you can do, and it's very heroic. Don't try to be strong in those situations because we're not that strong. We can fall. We are very fragile beings. And the only heroic thing that you can do is actually run away. And that's probably the only time in your life that running away is not cowardly. So yeah, be strong mentally, physically, spiritually. Be example to other men because that's what the world needs right now.